What's up? How you doing, everyone? Saturn day, the Sabbath for some. I got my freedom fighter hat on. It's vegan. Celebrating Ghana with my Ghanaian earrings. And about to head out, get some time in nature. Bless up, blessed rising, blessed uprising. Bob Marley sang a song about the head cornerstone, the stone that the builder refused. Shamans and oracles, priestess, aspirants, revolutionaries, powerful women are built. Our backbone has been strengthened through numerous experiences, positive and negative. We walk through life decade after decade after decade, and we learn from our host family, our parents, aunties, uncles, sisters, brothers, neighbors, friends, church members, pastors, the people we shop with at the grocery stores, what we call boyfriends and girlfriends, which I try to discourage because we don't go into sexual relationships with boys and girls. We go into powerful partnerships where we learn something. We call upon our reflection to learn. Bob Marley sang a song that talked about the head cornerstone. Bob Marley's father wasn't always present in his life, similar to what's going on with my son. Even in the midst of crisis, I can call and say, please do something. And there isn't a one of us around that isn't struggling with something that has to do with betrayal, rejection, abandonment, because Babylon's system, in and of itself, is a system of betrayal. So of course you have thyroid issues, because that has everything to do with you being choked out of life. If a mother and a father is good because they provide things, Happy Meals and toys and movies, parks and amusement parks and all that kind of stuff, which we all want to do when we have young children because we don't know better. So a lot of people want to take their children to the zoo, but the head cornerstone is the foundation. So as I taught my son's father, if you're not there to catch your son, you can't unlock him into the world. It's an unlock mechanism. So in order for us to keep building a solid foundation, we need to have the head cornerstone. We need to value it. Many of our elders ended up going out and getting jobs after working like myself for 38 years, working job after job and raising our children and being an elder. And then elders aren't around for you anymore. When you go to pick up the phone or you need something other than the doctor, the elder won't be there for you anymore. The elder will be used up. They will be working 40 or 50 or 60 hours a week so they can pay the rent and buy food and drop themselves into the grave. So in order for an elder who has accumulated wisdom 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 decades to be able to come out and freely be of service to you, they have to be supported. So instead of us having a system, which is Babylon, we have to create a new way, or as Bob Marley said, a new day, okay, where we step up and we support the real foundation. We support not by throwing money at it, but by building it brick by brick by brick, so that the Rastafari Creed, which is the infants all the way to the ancients or the ancients, are cared for and not just thrown to, the lion's den with stranger cares and daycares and assisted living and left to live out on the streets and become what a lot of people would randomly just call a bum. They get used up. I'm asking you to consider that if we don't start building pretty quickly, you're going to be left with people that are 40, 45 and under that don't have some of the ancient wisdom. You're going to be left with that. And when you go to pick up the phone, or you're crying, and you don't have real wisdom to turn to, you will know that we were farmed out on the plantation just like many, many, many generations of your ancestors and elders. And the information is now gone. It's lost. It's in the field. And together, when we up the wattage by coming together and not competing, we end up being able to tap into that source. But we can't do that when we're brain toxic, when we're neurotoxic. The medical system calls that, non-neurotypical, or Asperger's, or autistic spectrum disorder, or ADHD, or ODD. But let's face it, it's all brain toxic. It's when the brain is no longer with a plasticity. So psychoneuroimmunology and brain plasticity and all this stuff is just another gimmick to me. I've already seen it and heard it. In fact, I heard it from Mr. Johnson, who was a professor at West Valley College in a psych of addiction and a physiological psych class, 2 different classes I took with Don Johnson at West Valley College, who's retired now. All of this has already been known, but it's been turned into a scam. So if you force your elders out into jobs once they've already worked 38 years and taken care of children and learned the system inside and out, you cannot call us later when we're gone. You have to be thinking about the longevity of forward generations, and that we need to be in a situation where instead of we're working another job to get by, we're getting smart. We're thinking about what has to be done. I've had this hat for at least since before Zao was born. It's vegan. There's no sheep. No sheeps were killed for this hat. No animals were killed for this hat. And a former partner who's from Kingston told me, he said, I definitely would see you wearing a freedom fighter hat. I found it and I didn't actually know what it meant, but it appealed to me. And he said, that's a freedom fighter hat. We know that from way back. I said, oh, okay, good enough, good to know. So I never parted with it. I've thrown it in the washer a few times and then hung it up to dry on my drying rack like I do a lot of my clothing to make it last. And I don't even remember where I got it now. But my boots are vegan, my clothes are vegan, my hat's vegan. I don't want to be slicing up animals any more than I have to with feeding the dogs meat. Animals. Okay? I already have enough in my mind about that. So, we've got to do brick by brick by brick. We've got to build. While there's elders still around that can help you to set up these communities that I'm so fond of that will benefit all of us. There are very important elders like Fitzroy on my page who I turn to. I don't want to see people needlessly suffering, because you're going to cry when they're gone. You're going to cry when they can no longer give you what they can give you with their medicine, with the humbleness of their heart and their mercy. These are powerful, powerful people. Very powerful people that should, I don't like to use should and blame and shame language, but they should be spending an hour a day with our youth like I should be, teaching my thousands of hours of curing and using real medicine with people, really deep stuff, mind-body medicine, not just get out a yoga mat and stretch out your tension. I'm talking deep mind-body medicine, of which I can only touch on with you here. We should be getting this through guidance and cultivating these forward generations in the truth, in the way. We need to build that. It's going to take time where people walk out of these jobs, detoxify themselves, get their word sound and their headspace right, and we start building this stuff, because Africa is being depleted by the moment. Mexico, the United States, is being quickly turned into a camp. Okay? The Holocaust and the episode which was known as slavery was an African breeding camp. Don't kid yourself. That wasn't about coffee and cotton plantations. That was a breeding camp. The Holocaust was a drug-making facility, free labor, experimentation on people. So what do you think is coming up next? Anybody? What's coming up next? Do you think I'd say it here? I'm not going to say it here. I'm not dumb. I want to get to the goal too. But I'm going to encourage you to put your thinking caps on. If we don't start building in groups, start trusting one another, pull off of these toxic, violent movies, pull off Halloween. What are you doing? Don't even tell me you're conscious if you're out celebrating Halloween. Don't tell me you're a revolutionary, conscious woman if you're calling other females bitches, if you're putting a fake rug on your head, if you're slapping on costume jewelry. Get your headspace right. Get well within, so you can make it to 56. Have hair, have your mind working, be fast in your thoughts, so that you can hear the ancestors. Do what needs to be done. Don't worry so much about looking like you got to fit in. Just be you. But come clean. Come with manners and respect. Okay? I dropped one of those hand-carved wooden ankh earrings yesterday as I was walking along the lake walk, so I'm going to go back and I'm going to look for it. And taking Fire and Luna to go get a bath at one of the local places. It's $10 a piece. And they've been itching and itching for 6 weeks, and it's just about completely unnerving. It's very stressful. They were swimming in the water. They ended up with scabs all over their back. The water is so polluted. What a crying shame. We have waters to clean up. We have an earth to clean up. I used earth on my face this morning. I made just a simple paste, kind of take down some of my eye puffiness because the dogs were keeping me awake. Clean up my skin. Just a little Aztec clay and water, and put it on there and let it dry and wipe it off with a warm washcloth. We can do this so that people like Ari and Little Chance, Zawa, who's 22, they can put some hope back into their lives and not like, geez, we got left a big mess. You really think they're going to figure it out with all the peers they have around them? I don't think so. They're sitting in front of TVs, pumping the vapes and hitting the dabs and hitting the stuff all the time. How are they going to possibly amass the energy needed to take care of a project like this? We need elders that are not yet poisoned, because we were around and eating food that was far less poison than many of you that are 40 and under. Let's put it together. Let's put it together sooner than later. Let's not expend and chop down the tree at the expense of the young tree, because the young tree won't benefit once the older trees are gone. They're left alone standing in the forest. We got to figure things out sooner than later. We need to do this together. Who can walk away from what they're doing right now and set up a space on land without control drama, drugs, getting high all the time, drinking alcohol, needing to be the owner of the women with, I'm a polygamist, or I need to be married, or I'm jealous? Who can work in partnership ways? Sophisticated heart-centered partnership ways. Anyone? I can. My sexual impulses are well in check. I don't need to sex people. I don't. I don't need to eat hordes and gobs of food. I don't need to go shopping. I don't need to go to the mall. I don't need any medications or any testing. I'm ready. Are you ready? Are you ready to do what it takes? Or should we just keep going down the line until we lose all the elders? Until you have no one to call when you're crying and you're scared because everyone thinks the next generation is going to be better. They're going to do better than the one before them. I hope it's true. I want it to be true, but we're going to have to lay down some plans. We're going to have to do some work. People are going to have to go out there and clean water, respect water, protect water, like they're doing. They're going to have to protect the earth. We're going to need something more than cartoons and people with costumes on. People that hear and see clearly. Something more than celebrities and performers pumped out by Hay House. We need something more than performers. You throw money at people for taking their shirt off and panning their abs and then they go around and live their life in solitude to themselves. But what will you do for yourself? What will you do to elevate humanity for our children and their children and their children before they get sucked into this DARPA-based Borg? I could go pretty deep, deeper than what you'd believe deep even is. I'd have you crying right now. That's not what this is about. It's about waking up. It's about setting down a plan sooner than later, not next year. Next year never happens. One person can't do it by themselves. It needs to be together. Together, there's strength. You build a pyramid, you build a castle, you build a wall, brick by brick by brick. Each brick is an individual, is one aspect of the one, of the whole. Okay? So I'm going to say so long for now. Love you. I wish you well. Stay empowered. Stay righteous. Stay moving with a clean heart, clean hands. Please don't be slicing the throat of the goat. That really just threw a curve in my day yesterday. It's not powerful. That's something beyond human. Gotta wake up. Gotta wake up. That's why you always see the guru or the sage or the sangoma living in the cave, because they can't take living around you folks anymore. We can't. So we leave, we go get a job, and we just button our lip, or we reach out and we see if you guys are willing to build. If you're not, you're not. No one can force it. So then we just go our own way. That's the truth. We just go our own way. And then you're stuck with cartoons and performers and people that put crystal crowns on and rock and roll shamans. Okay? Rock and roll shamans. That's what we've come to. Lady Gaga. Gaga goo goo. Babies. But I'm going to go hang out with the girls today. Who are you? Why do you reduce yourself? They've shown you what they want you to be as a consumer. You don't have to be that. You're not a bitch. You're not a witch. You're not a whore or a slut or a harlot. And the minute I hear you using that language, I know you're in too deep. Male or female or whatever in the hell you call yourself. You're in too deep. Fluid gender. This is caca. It's caca. Your hormones have become deranged and hijacked so they can more easily manipulate you. You're not a gender fluid. Figure it out. Figure it out. Fuse, plug in. Huh? Receptor, receptacle. It's not hard. That's basic math. All right, now. I love you. Respect. Whoops.